welcome to Rennsport 7. This is a massive, massive Porsche event here, and it's a super special thing to get invited to. And not only am I here, but we have Sophion from Redline Reviews
Hey,
here.
Case. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and Sophion and I get to walk around and see some of, well, really all of the Porsches that are here at Rennsport, this huge gathering of Porsches in the US. That happens, what, every 5 years?
Every 5 years, so I guess the last one was in 2018, if I'm doing my math correctly.
Yeah, and I mean, it is chaos here. As you can see, there's tons of people, tons of cars, but I mean, let's start out by looking at one of the most special Porsches, well, 5 of the most special Porsches ever made. These are 959s, dude. This is Group B rally era Porsche.
Yeah, this was definitely the thing that you noticed immediately when you walked in here, was 5 of them all grouped together. I mean, and how many of them did they build, Case, in the total?
So they built about 337 of them total, and it's pretty special to see one, period, because of that. But to see 5 of them parked next to each other,
especially 2 green ones.
Insane.
I love the green ones.
I know, and 2 different shades of green at that. So these are crazy cars. Yeah, they're basically homologation race cars for the Group B rally era. And there's a ton of interesting stories around these cars, but one of the craziest ones is that initially these weren't possible to make street legal in the US until some influential people, including Bill Gates, basically lobbied to create this show and display law that allowed special vehicles like these in small volume numbers to be driven a certain number of miles every year. So that whole law was created for these cars.
Yeah, and since they're all over 25 years old, they kind of bypass a lot of the regulations, so that's why people can now buy these things.
Yeah, at this point, it's really not an issue registering it, from what I understand. I don't actually have a 959, surprisingly, so I don't know what it's like to register one.
Neither do I, and I know these cars are really, really expensive, so I don't think I'd ever have one of these, but they are very cool to see.
Yeah, and they had 2.8 liter flat sixes, twin turbo. Stock output was 444 horsepower, and when these came out, it was the fastest production car in the world, 197 miles per hour. But they even made stripped down sport versions of these, which I think they only made like 29 of, and those had 508 horsepower, and some people say could do as much as 211 miles per hour.
Right, in 1986 or 1993, so think about 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago, that kind of performance.
Yeah, the 918, also pretty incredible car.
Yeah, I mean, what's crazy to me is this car came out over 10 years ago. It still looks like a brand new, like something that was introduced this year, honestly.
Yeah,
It still looks amazing.
It was so ahead of its time when it came out, being plug-in hybrid. It could go actually about 12 miles on a charge, because I think it had a 6.8 kilowatt hour battery.
Yeah.
875 combined horsepower output, 4.6 liter V8.
Right.
And this, from what I remember, because it was, like you said, 10 years ago, it was a while ago, but these set a Nürburgring record, and not only did they set a Nürburgring record, but this was the first street legal production car to set a sub 7-minute time at the Nürburgring. I think 6 minutes 57.
Yeah, plus the fact that it was a plug-in hybrid. I mean, at the time, everyone thought of a plug-in hybrid like a Prius plug-in hybrid.
Yeah.
Porsche was like, we can do it as a performance car, as a hypercar, and it still looks amazing today.
Oh yeah, no, this is a car that I would have a hard time imagining could ever age poorly, because, I mean, well, case in point, let's cross through these cars here and show a vehicle that I feel like is sort of a spiritual predecessor to it.
That thing right there.
It's a Carrera GT.
Carrera GT.
So again, I mean, also mid-engine, this is a 5.7 liter V10.
Yes. With a manual transmission too.
Yeah, which you can see right there on that crazy center console with that wooden shift knob. Yeah, 5.7 liter V10, I think 603 horsepower. I mean, this was a pretty insane era, because these cars were still fairly analog.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they came out, I think 2004 is when it came out, so it's like almost 20 years old. It's amazing to me how this car still looks like something new.
Yeah, I mean, again, kind of like what we were just saying with the 918, you know, this kind of feels like that car's predecessor, but like you said, looking at it today, you would never say that this car looks dated. It really doesn't.
No.
Look at that, I didn't even notice. There's 2 more next to another 959 that's behind another 959.
Okay.
So the other thing, we're at Laguna Seca. This is obviously a racetrack. Porsche has a long history in racing, and so there's tons and tons of race cars here too.
Yeah, I mean, you can hear it in the background, so it might be a little bit noisy at times, but yeah, if you guys are a gearhead, you're just going to love hearing all the sounds and everything around you.
And we'll walk on to kind of the main strip here. Underneath that tent were a lot of the really, really cool classics. But when we walk onto the main strip, this will take us over to some of the paddocks here that have a few of the race cars, and there's some really special stuff here.
I almost had to do a double take when I walked by these.
Which is cool. I mean, it even says it here in gold on the back of the seat. That's a nice tractor, man.
Of course, I mean, it's a Porsche. It has to be nice, right?
We've got our company ranch in Colorado. Oh, look!
Colorado tag right there.
Plate. Wow. Yeah, so we've got our company ranch in Colorado.
I think Roman's going to have to get himself one of these.
I think Roman definitely needs a Porsche tractor. Look at this one.
This one even has a wing on the back.
Hell yeah, it does. It's got a whole race livery. Look, the seat is even labeled. Yeah, so that's pretty cool to see. This is not something that you come across every day.
No.
So much here. It is a little overwhelming, I gotta say.
I mean, especially since this is my first time here and your first time here, so there's a lot to see, a lot to cover.
If I remember right, this is their electric hypercar, basically prototype, right?
Yeah, so this is supposed to be the spiritual successor to the 918, to the Carrera GT. We're still about 2 years away from an actual production version of the car, but the fact that it should look pretty much just like this, but it's all electric. Porsche hasn't told us what the range is or the horsepower, but they're saying it'll charge twice as fast as the current Taycan Turbo S.
Yeah, which is insane. And I mean, the design of this is crazy. Look at the way that these headlights are structured. And there's like
it's like two individual LEDs that kind of go down, and I think they actually they change, like, not color, but I forgot what I read about. Something in the rear as well. When you have the vehicle charging, the E will change colors and like pulsate. And then the car itself, I mean, just check out how tall it is. I'm like really short. I'm 5'7". This thing is like 47.5 inches tall. I'm like, it makes me feel like a giant. It's kind of interesting to see.
Well, but the funny thing is, it's super low, as any incredibly high performance car typically is, but it's not a small car by any means. I mean, the footprint of this vehicle is pretty impressive, and then looking at the taillight design.
I love this detail right here. It almost looks like the Porsche badge is kind of floating in midair or something.
And the other thing that's cool too is, for a long time, Porsche has had these full width taillights that have really become pretty popular across the automotive industry. And this is just a very new style of full width taillight.
Yeah, I mean, you can also see the exposed carbon fiber. The whole body, I believe, is like is carbon fiber reinforced plastic or something like that. Yeah, but Porsche is saying that this will have more downforce versus like a 911 GT3 RS, the current generation.
I mean, this is why we wanted to make this video, basically, was just to give people kind of a look at what goes on here at Rennsport, because it's a really special thing, more than we can show in a single video. But I wanted to, at the very least, make a little video walking around some of the highlight things that we've seen so far here at Rennsport. So let us know what you guys think down in the comments below. This is a cool event. I get to be here a little bit longer than you do.
You do, actually, yeah, because I fly out late tonight, but you'll be here all until Saturday. So.
Yeah, exactly. I'm here all day today, all day tomorrow, and then I leave the next day. So hopefully that'll give me enough time to take this all in. I really doubt it because there's just too much to look at. But even so, yeah, we wanted to give you guys just a little sneak peek behind the scenes of what it's like to be at this event. So again, yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Check out Sophian's channel, Redline Reviews, because he's going to have some stuff coming out of this event as well.
Yep.
And yeah, that's all. We'll catch you all in the next video.
Awesome. Take care.